Hey, what's up guys? My name is Cameron Gallagher and today we're talking about the Caldigit T4. So let's get into it. After purchasing the GH5, one of the things that I immediately noticed was the need for more storage. My shoots were hitting 200, 300, and even 500 gigs for certain projects, and even in a couple circumstances for some really large projects, up to 2 terabytes. Now in a previous workflow video, I kind of talked about some of the hard drives that I had purchased and how I was using these sort of external, backup hard drives that you would throw on your computer and you could easily store footage. Now, although I still stand by the fact that you can easily store footage on those for very cheap, the reality is they're incredibly slow to work off of, and then you're constantly swapping out drives because you can only fit a few projects on them. So then you have 4 projects here, 2 projects here, 5 projects there. Now I do have a Samsung 1 terabyte work SSD, and that's really great because it allows me to pick up things and move. But the problem is transferring projects back and forth from that drive is incredibly difficult, especially because it's bottlenecked by the drive that I'm using to, transfer it from. Generally, those mechanical hard drives go anywhere from 50 to 100 megabytes per second, which is incredibly slow, and it can't handle a 4K workflow. So the problem that I ran into is I needed something that had a lot of storage, but that was fast enough to keep up with 4K workflows, and something that I could use for a lot of different projects. So I reached out to Caldigit and I let them know my problems, and they got back to me and said, hey, we know exactly what you need. So they sent me their Caldigit T4. Now, a quick disclaimer, they did send me this, but of course, like all my reviews, this is not a sponsored video. They did not pay me to say anything, so I can say as I please. So the Caldigit T4 is a Thunderbolt 3 4-drive RAID system. Now, unlike some RAID systems where you can swap the hard drives out, Caldigit recommends that you do not swap your hard drives out, although it does come with a key, I guess in case if one of the drives were to die or something like that. But they've done a lot of extensive testing and know that these drives are going to work for a long period of time, so totally trustworthy there. One of the cool things about the T4 is it offers several different drive configurations, including JBOD, RAID 0, RAID 1, and RAID 5. Now, I'm not going to go into all the features, but basically a quick little rundown is that JBOD is just one giant system. So I have an 8 terabyte model they sent me, so you'd have 8 terabytes of storage at the speed of just about one drive, so about 125 megabytes per second. RAID 0 is the fastest and stripes the data across all the drives, allowing for the fastest workflow, basically making your speed 4 times as much as one hard drive. RAID 1 is a duplicate copy, so out of 8 terabytes, you'd actually have 4 terabytes that are completely backed up. Now, this is not a form of backup, so do not ever use RAID as a form of backup. Don't think if you just have something on your RAID 1, you're totally fine, it's backed up. Not the case. RAID 5 allows for 1 drive failure, so basically you'd get 6 terabytes and 1 terabyte of configurable data. So if that drive were to die, you could plug in another drive and it would reconfigure itself. But let's be honest, all these are great, but realistically what I'm looking for is RAID 0. I mean, I have Thunderbolt 3 in my MacBook Pro, I'm looking for the highest speeds possible, and I have 4 incredibly fast drives. So I set up mine in RAID 0. Now you must download Caldigit's disk utility, and it's really easy and simple to work with. You plug in the power for the T4, you plug in your Thunderbolt 3 cable that is included, which is very nice. Once you boot it up, you configure your drive however you want it in the Caldigit. Again, I did mine in RAID 0, and boom, you're good to go. The cool thing is too, is on the MacBook Pro, it actually shows up as like the icon of the Caldigit T4, like the actual device itself, which I think is really nice because it's just kind of easy, because you get lost in all the names of the hard drives, so it's kind of cool to see it, and it makes itself stand out a little more. So the first thing I did was open Blackmagic design speed test, and I wanted to see how fast this thing actually gets. I was averaging speeds from about 700 to about 800 megabytes per second. So in RAID 0, these drives are incredibly fast. The amazing thing is that it is Thunderbolt 3, so you're getting the absolute top speed you can. But the nicest part is you're not saturating Thunderbolt 3. Which brings me one of the T4's next feature is the fact that you can daisy chain other Thunderbolt 3 devices as well as hook up a display. So you have a display port and another Thunderbolt 3 on the back where you can again daisy chain other Thunderbolt 3 hard drives, devices. So the way I run my Caldigit T4 is I use it of course as my main work drive that I import all of my footage to. Then using the Thunderbolt 3 on the back, I actually daisy chain another hard drive that I picked up from Best Buy for about 150 bucks. It's another 8 terabyte hard drive to match the 8 terabytes in the Caldigit T4. And what I do is I back that up on a daily basis. That way, of course, I have my full speed, T4 running at its 750 megabytes per second, and then I have its backup constantly backing up daily. That way, everything's safely backed up, but of course, I get the speed and versatility of the T4. Now, of course, I could run my 4K display, but I do have a dock, and I run some other things through that, so I found that it's just nice to kind of balance it so you're not saturating one Thunderbolt 3. Now, one thing I will say is the Caldigit T4 is pretty big. You definitely have to have some room on your desktop for this. I mean, it's not huge, it's not like a computer, like a desktop, but at the same time, it still is pretty big, and it can definitely get a little bit noisy. Now, I don't mean noisy as in like annoying, but if it is on your desk and it is right there, it can definitely, produce some sound. So if you're doing voiceover recording or stuff like that, you may be able to hear it. I probably doubt it, especially if you're micing yourself properly, but just keep that in mind if you are doing a lot of voiceover work and stuff like that. I do love the design of the T4. It looks really nice. It looks nice and sleek on your desk. And it just kind of looks quality and it feels quality. It's very heavy. Honestly, I cannot tell you how much this drive has really done for me. One of the things I started to question was whether or not my MacBook Pro is actually keeping up with my 4K editing. I noticed that things were getting choppy in playback, and I was looking at DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci Resolve is really optimized, so I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, and I thought maybe it didn't have enough RAM or my graphics card. Now, although, yes, having an external graphics card and maybe some more RAM would be nice, the minute I got my T4, moved my projects over and started working from that T4 drive, I instantly noticed a massive just jump in actual playback. What was happening is because I had several 4K clips that are, 150 plus megabytes per second, my hard drives couldn't keep up with them. So now the T4 runs at 750 megabytes per second. I can easily do things like a music video where I have 4, 5, 6, 4K timelines playing at once. So definitely before investing in a better computer, think about investing in fast hard drives and see if that's a problem in your workflow. I'm incredibly happy with my Caldigit T4. Now my plan for the Caldigit T4 is to always use it as a work drive. So what I'll do is when the 8 terabytes is filled, my backup will be sitting there, I'll get another backup 8 terabyte drive, back that 8 terabyte drive up, take those 2 drives and archive them. So now I have 2 copies of all of that 8 terabyte footage. Then I will wipe the Caldigit T4 and then get another backup drive now for that and do the same as it fills. 8 terabytes gets me anywhere from 6 months to about a year based on the projects that I've been doing. So what's really nice is that it allows for me to have a longer period of time and having a faster workflow. I totally recommend this product to anyone that is looking for fast RAID storage, especially if you're using a Thunderbolt 3 device. Now, of course, you probably could use this on Thunderbolt 2 and maybe even USB 3.1 Gen 1. Not 100% sure on that. I think most of those could probably handle the speeds, but of course, if you want to daisy chain things or use a DisplayPort, Thunderbolt 3 is pretty much a must. But definitely if you have a MacBook Pro or an iMac or any device that has Thunderbolt 3 on it, this is an incredible storage solution, and honestly the pricing is pretty much some of the best out there. There are a lot of competitors like G Technology and LaCie, and not saying that those are bad drives by any means, but most of those are far more expensive for less drives, speed, and efficiency. So definitely if you're thinking about getting a hard drive, please go check out the Caldigit T4. I'm gonna leave the link down below, so go check it out. It kind of helps out the channel too, shows them that you guys are watching the videos and enjoying it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now stay tuned because we are doing a really big behind the scenes for our My Road Reel short film that we're working on right now. Should be out sometime in the next 2 weeks or so, and also behind the scenes will be up on my other channel. And if you haven't checked out my other channel, I have some short films and sort of some narrative stuff that I've been doing over the years over there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys soon.